and it looked like Kennedy Carter has finally broken her silence about this Caitlin Clark situation. Kennedy Carter just jumped out the window and justified an assault on Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA season is just around the corner, but one name is still noticeably absent from any roster: Kennedy Carter. The same Kennedy Carter who, last June, ignited a firestorm of controversy by shoulder-checking Caitlin Clark in what many are calling the league's most blatant cheap shot in years. And now, after months of silence, Carter has finally broken her silence.
Can you break down that situation that happened?
Yeah. So, in basketball a little bit, there's things called talking, what you like to call smack or whatever everybody likes to call it.
Yeah.
Plays before things are said, that's a part of basketball.
And it's only making things worse. Today, we're breaking down exactly what happened, why it still matters, and how Carter's recent attempt to explain the incident has left fans, analysts, and WNBA front offices even more skeptical. Is this just basketball? Or is Kennedy Carter being made an example of for how not to treat the league's new superstar? Let's get into it. Flashback to June 2024. A routine game between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever suddenly became anything but. Caitlin Clark, then a rookie sensation redefining women's basketball, had just hit a mid-range jumper. As she turned to jog back down court, Kennedy Carter, with no basketball reason, veered directly toward Clark and delivered a hard shoulder check that sent the young star to the hardwood. Let's be clear, this wasn't incidental contact. This wasn't part of the play. It was intentional, it was aggressive, and it was caught on camera from every angle. The officials originally called it a common foul, but after review, flagrant, no debate. And Caitlin Clark, she didn't whine, she didn't retaliate, she just got up and kept playing. But the league and the fans weren't going to move on so easily.
Kennedy Carter has always been kind of up against the fence when speaking about this Caitlin Clark situation. We remember when she first got asked about this during a press conference, she stated that she wasn't going to speak on Caitlin Clark. Now we know months later, she still hasn't spoken on the whole situation. That is until today. Yes, Kennedy Carter finally broken her silence about the Caitlin Clark hip check.
Carter has always been a lightning rod. Let's not forget, back in 2021, while with the Atlanta Dream, she was suspended indefinitely for what the team described as conduct detrimental to the team. She was traded to the Sparks, then landed in Chicago. And now she's out of a job. Training camps begin April 27th. Every major free agent has found a team, except Carter. And as of today, she's scrambling to explain why. Just days ago, with the clock ticking on her WNBA future, Carter sat down with Streamer Neon. The goal? Reframe the narrative, rehabilitate her image. But if anything, it backfired. In the interview, she claimed the hit on Clark was just a little tap. She compared it to NBA moments, citing Jeff Teague pushing LeBron James. She even floated a new theory that Clark may have elbowed her before the play. But here's the problem. The footage doesn't back that up. There was no elbow, no trash talk, no provocation, just a blindside shoulder check. And the timing of this new narrative? Convenient. Too convenient. Carter now says Clark is a great player, that she loves the hate, that it's all just part of competitive basketball. But remember, this is the same Kennedy Carter who, just months ago, refused to answer any questions about Clark.
So she was signed to the Chicago Sky with Teresa Weatherspoon, with Angel Reese, with Camila Cardoso, and the rest of the folks. And then we get to the body check. This was originally ruled an away from the ball foul, but it was obviously a flagrant foul. It really upset a lot of people, which really escalated the issue. And it was really just poor sportsmanship on Kennedy's part.
Who mocked her game, who played it off like it never happened. This sudden 180, from silence to praise, doesn't look like growth. It looks like desperation. The fans see it, the media sees it, and most importantly, WNBA teams see it. The WNBA is on the rise. Viewership is exploding. Attendance is up. And Caitlin Clark is at the center of it all. The league isn't just protecting her, it's protecting what she represents, momentum, visibility, and the future of women's basketball. That means players like Carter, who threaten that image, are being scrutinized like never before. And if you can't show accountability, if you can't own your actions, Teams will move on. Fast. This isn't just about one foul. This is about professionalism, culture, respect for the game. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She's a movement. She's changed how the WNBA is marketed, how games are covered, and how players are scrutinized. And for veterans and fringe players like Kennedy Carter, that shift is uncomfortable.
Now, what little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. It's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
You're watching a power dynamic play out in real time. Players who've been grinding for years without mainstream recognition are now forced to adjust to a league that's finally catching fire, largely because of a 22-year-old from Iowa. That's not Clark's fault, but it does explain the tension. Some players are embracing it. Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Chelsea Gray have shown love and offered mentorship. Others? They're resisting it. And Carter's hit may have symbolized that resistance more than anything else. This isn't just a sports story, it's a generational shift, and Clark is the catalyst. Here's the thing, the WNBA has always been about redemption stories. Liz Cambage, Cappie Pondexter, even Diana Taurasi had her controversies.
I think a play before, maybe I was elbowed. Okay, that happens. I think the next play down, maybe something was said. And then maybe there was like a little clip of somebody like yelling in my face. And then we go down the court. Then I hit like a little bucket. You feel me? Come down, hit like a nice little mid-range pull-up. And then I just like, feel like a little like I'm here. Like, I don't think it was, what's crazy? Me and my brother went back and watched, and we've seen a lot of clips in the NBA of guys getting like pushing LeBron. Like I think it was Jeff Teague or somebody who like pushed LeBron out of bounds, like said, man, I was mad because like we couldn't stop him.
But what separates them from Kennedy Carter? They took accountability. They grew. They found ways to channel their fire without burning bridges. Carter's window isn't closed. Not yet. She's only 25, still has elite speed, can still put up points in bunches. But if she wants another shot, it's going to take more than TikTok clips and live stream interviews. It'll take humility, real, public accountability. On social media, Kennedy Carter's defenders are loud, but they're also missing context. Being outspoken isn't the problem. Plenty of stars are vocal and opinionated. The issue is consistency, professionalism, and growth. Carter's recent live streams and IG posts haven't helped her case. Instead of showing leadership or self-awareness, they've leaned into defiance.
She did. She stopped and went through. That is not... We watched the clip. There is no way that we're letting this happen. Saying that it was nothing. This is not just a tap.
What? That's not villain behavior. It's self-sabotage. And here's the hard truth. In the WNBA, where every roster spot is precious, teams don't just want talent, they want reliability. Right now, Carter's public persona is drowning out her actual skill set. You won't hear GMs go on record trashing a player. But behind the scenes, the whispers about Kennedy Carter have gotten louder. Words like uncoachable, distracting, and inconsistent keep coming up. Even coaches who once believed in her talent are hesitant now. They've seen the late arrivals to practice, the on-court confrontations, the social media storms that follow her from team to team. That's not a media agenda. That's real feedback from people who make roster decisions. And it's a warning sign that Carter needs to course correct, fast. Let's imagine a different path. What if Kennedy Carter took a year off from the WNBA, went overseas, dominated in Europe or Asia, and rebuilt her reputation? What if she came back with a sharper mindset, a refined game, and a clear message? I've grown. That's how you flip the narrative. The league loves a comeback, and fans are quick to forgive when they see accountability. Carter has the raw talent to be an all-star, but she needs a redemption arc, not a defiance tour. Some fans argue that Kennedy Carter is being punished for things male players get away with. And there's some truth to that. The WNBA is held to an image standard that the NBA never faced. When NBA players show fire, it's swagger. When WNBA players do it, it's attitude. But here's the difference. Even the most volatile NBA stars, from Allen Iverson to Draymond Green, eventually learned how to operate within the system. They picked their battles. They learned when to turn it on and when to dial it back. Carter hasn't figured that out yet. And until she does, the double standard conversation won't save her spot in the league. Here's the bottom line. The WNBA is growing, with or without Kennedy Carter. Caitlin Clark is pulling in millions of viewers. Angel Reese is changing the brand game. Paige Bueckers is coming. The league's next decade is being built now. And for a player like Carter, this moment is make or break. The league doesn't owe her a spot, but she can still earn one. If she stops trying to be the misunderstood rebel and starts being the resilient competitor, the kind who proves everyone wrong by being undeniable. The window's open, but not for long. Angel Reese isn't just a rising star, she's the new standard. Physical, marketable, unapologetically confident. But here's the key difference between her and Kennedy Carter. Reese shows up. Whether it's rebounding, defending, or running the floor, she's producing, even on off nights. She doesn't disappear when it matters. That consistency is why brands and teams are lining up behind her. Kennedy Carter may have blazed a trail, but Reese is building a highway. The message is clear. If you're not adapting, you're fading. The modern WNBA locker room isn't just about X's and O's. It's about energy, trust, and culture. Veteran leaders like Alyssa Thomas and Chelsea Gray aren't just stars because of stats. They command respect. They lead teams with presence and stability. Kennedy Carter? Too often, she's been the spark that sets off dysfunction. You can't lead if your teammates don't trust you. You can't grow if you refuse to be coached. The league isn't just evaluating talent anymore, they're evaluating impact. And right now, Carter's impact is questionable. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If Kennedy Carter doesn't reinvent herself soon, she's going to end up like dozens of other what-if stories. Players with flash, hype, and skill, but no longevity. But she's still young, still explosive, still one breakout season away from shifting the narrative. It's on her now, not her fans, not the media, not the league. Her. This is her moment. Either she evolves or she fades. At the end of the day, Kennedy Carter's story isn't finished. It's still being written. In every practice, every locker room, every chance she gets to either grow or self-destruct. She was built for this league. But being built for it isn't enough. You have to evolve. You have to mature. You have to prove every single day that you're not just a moment, but a movement. The WNBA is changing. The talent is deeper. The spotlight is hotter. The margin for error, smaller than ever. So this is it, the crossroads. Kennedy Carter can keep blaming everyone else, or she can take control of the narrative. Because if she doesn't, someone else will.